Good evening, traders and investors. Welcome to Sunday, May 16th edition of the Pre-PreMarket Prep Show. A big shout out to me because I got us open before the futures open. Not by much. Thank you. I'm going to do a little flex here. I wanted to do that, got the timing of it. So let's just go right to the big board here, folks. S&P's crazy rally. Thursday and Friday. We're going to have to discuss this with Rob after the inflation numbers. This market bounced right back. What are the odds of the market going back to new all-time highs this week? Rob will be on here with me in just one moment. Let me share some charts here. I know you guys really tune in for the charts, so let me get them up here first, and we will look. I'm gonna take the. We'll get to the Bitcoin, folks. We're gonna talk a lot of Bitcoin tonight. S&P futures, they're trading up 2 3/4 handle. We're going to look at the close, 41.69. That was a close on Friday. Quick dip under that, and we're in the green. Friday's high, 78.25. Some targets on the upside we can discuss a little bit later in the show. Colonial Pipeline back in full operation after the recent hack, up a nickel. Crude 65.42. Gold. I need gold over 18.50, and gold's trying. That's up $5.40 at 18.43.5. I need silver over 28. That's up 13 cents at 27,495. Good 13 cents in the green. Needed to clear 28. And we're going to bring in Mr. Freeze in here. Bitcoin down $5,000. Just call it at 41,500. This is called 45,000. I hate saying all those numbers. Good evening, Rob. I know it's good afternoon for you out there in Vancouver. How's the weekend? Did you have some fun? You look like you got a little color there. Or is that windburn?
No, it's sunny outside. Yeah, just my do you like dogs?
I got the greatest dog in the world.
Yeah.
Terry.
Well, we had a dog that we had for 15 years. It passed a number of years ago, but my wife just got a rescue dog from Mexico, so fresh off the plane. No,
a Chihuahua.
It's a mixed breed. It's kind of cute. But anyway, so it's got a little bit of emotional problems. It's
Don't
a rescue
we all?
dog. Yeah. So but it's really lovable, and it's actually very smart, very trainable. It's just very sensitive to noises like backfiring cars. I guess too many guns there in Tijuana or something where it came from. It doesn't like backfiring cars, that's for sure.
All right. Well, let's Rob, let's get right to the Bitcoin here. I mean, we could talk about the market, we could talk about the futures, we could talk about the seasonality for the week, we could talk about the pipeline. But I mean, and we had someone on this show, and it wasn't me. Maybe predict that Bitcoin might see 72K in July. Right now,
by July 1st, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can't take that back once it's out in the live, it's out in the wild. But I mean, is this not the case for anything that we do in terms of speculation? Is that you can have one of your greatest charts, Joel. It's got the setup perfect setup, and you're going to take and swing trade that for 3 days because it looks absolutely stunning. And then what happens? Some catalyst goes, some macro thing goes, some dictator goes nuts, some massive earthquake, who knows what, and down the market goes, and your trade is stopped out or worse. Right? So we deal with this all the time, is that if things sort of left to some degree of seasonality, some degree of just leaving it alone, I think the demand is, especially institutional, was there. We've seen, what have we seen in there? We've seen ETFs, we've seen futures, we've seen custodial, right? We've seen greater adoption by institutions. Now the guy that's messing with it all, right? What's his agenda? See, here's the thing. Some people say he's just crazy. too many 420 days, or or
or not enough.
or is there an agenda, right? So I think, we've been in this business long enough that people that are out there yakking a lot about things that they do or don't do or want to do, um, often have an agenda.
I agree.
So the question is, even bless his heart, Shamath. I know people specifically that know him that say, they don't trust him, right? So would you buy one of his SPACs, right? How come he's selling his own SPACs? you know, the 20 these guys that put up the money, they get the 20% of the stock, right? So the founders, I mean, they always win, but does the public win? Do the retail buyers win? Wall Street seems to win because they create the products. Look at the leveraged ETFs.
Wait, do I have Warren Buffett on the show with me today? Is that who I have with me?
No,
is that Warren Buffett talking about the fees? I just want to know
what fees. What fees?
Yeah.
So anyway, about Bitcoin. So don't you think it's disingenuous that they buy Bitcoin, announce that they bought Bitcoin, and then go back on it in a sense that they either sold it or they're going to sell it? Did he not know the high cost of energy for mining Bitcoin? I mean, was that just a surprise all of a sudden? So what do you think? Maybe this is about carbon tax credits. This is about something entirely different than, I think I've changed my mind on Bitcoin.
I'd have to agree with you.
I told you this. I said I wrote them a letter or email, not a letter anymore in these days. I wrote them an email. I said, did you guys not consider other options like ADA, which is made by Cardano, right? I mean, did you not consider other options? And I disclosed that I'm a holder. In fact, I converted everything I had in Bitcoin to Cardano because I liked it so much. So it's really
flat,
one of those. It's not a sexy. It's
you're
not
flat
sexy.
on the Bitcoin.
I'm still mining it right now, in a sense of what happens is with GPU mining, you mine all kinds of altcoins and then it converts, you get paid in Bitcoin, right?
Okay.
So the thing is that then I get my Bitcoin and I decide if I'm going to keep it or I'm going to convert it. And I converted it to Cardano. So we'll see what happens. It's not as sexy in the sense of, being treated like a currency at this point. But if they come out with smart contracts and stuff like that, it could be more robust. The energy consumption is less because it's proof of stake. It's not based on proof of work.
So you think that this has to, I mean, I know they got a lot of tax credits coming, Tesla, a lot of the concessions they got from the government for clean energy here. You think that maybe has something to do with his change in his stance?
You don't buy 1.5 billion and decide to change your mind, because what was the premise for it? Was to be able to accept Bitcoin for cars.
Correct.
Blah, 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 blah. This is the future, it's going to the moon. No, there's political pressure or board of directors pressure or something even more sinister, but it's certainly disingenuous in my mind for how everything has played out. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm not sore about anything. I don't really care whether Bitcoin goes to the moon or crashes to zero. Personally, I don't really care, but I know other people do, so I feel bad for them. And it seems that there's something going on here that's pulling the carpet out from a lot of people that are involved in following what he does. And I think these guys have responsibilities to be more ethical. For some reason, I don't think there's ethics at play here, but
no,
something else is going on.
You know what? We're gonna move on from this in a second. I'm just gonna look at this, and I just pulled up the charts here, and full disclosure, no Bitcoin, no own cryptocurrencies. I'm just looking at the charts, folks, and this is what it's telling me. You had that major support at 53K that held for several sessions, right? I can draw a line across there and show you that it held, right? and it teetered. It tried to get back above it on Thursday. It failed. Friday, it didn't even get close to there. Now, whatever the news over the weekend, you're taking out the support, you're taking out the low of the move. What I'm looking at is I'm going to move down here to the monthly because people look at 15 minutes and 60 minutes and all these short-term charts, but a lot what Rob talks about is historical trends and longer term probabilities where you're going to make your money in the markets. And what's this telling you? This is telling you that you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 huge green monthly up bars, right?
Yep.
Great. Exactly what you want to see. Then you had a wild red bar, right, with a new all-time high, all right, and now you got a big red bar. So what this is telling me, before I said 53,000, now I'm going to say 50,000 just because it's a psychological level. But if you any technical analysis can tell you that you get a bar like this, something that goes up quickly through an area, when it comes down, it can come down even quicker. So who knows what the politics, everything that's going on with it. 45K right now is my new number. Got a whole 45K. Last time I talked negative about Bitcoin on a Sunday night show, it rallied $3,000 overnight. So I'm just going to say 45 and then get back to 50.
Now there is, there's a bit of a wealth effect here too that can affect other things because there have been more and more people. And one of the reasons it was going up so well was because more people were holding it after they bought it instead of actually trading it, right? So there was this, expectation of it to be a little bit defensive against the fiat ultimately, and scarcity and things like that. So I can see there being a bit of a wealth effect pullback, and that might affect other things in the discretionary area and so on. And I mean, if this thing really crashes, that could be slightly systemic to some degree, wouldn't you think?
All right. I mean, for a lot of there's a lot of stock. Another thing I want to point out too is that there's a lot of stocks that have had some enormous runs based on a Bitcoin, none other than Riot Blockchain. Look, it had its high of the move back in February during the Reddit run, but look what this thing has done. Even as Bitcoin is like hung between 50 and 60K, this thing is imploded. And
Yeah.
this is a derivative based on Bitcoin. So if you were keeping an eye on this stock, I mean, it was kind of telling you.
Well, and then there's the other thing. There's the people involved in Bitcoin mining and so on, and then some of them are like a leveraged play on it too, right?
Yep.
Depending on how much they hold, right?
Yep. These
So
are
yeah, there can be some systemic issues spilling over into all kinds of things. Not to mention, maybe there's going to be the transfer out of it as people sell it and buy other things. But likely it'll cool a lot of the, crypto arena in general, right?
Yep, exactly. All right, so Rob, let's just talk a little bit about last week, the big sell-off on the inflation numbers, right? You had talked about looking for a little dip in May towards the middle of the month. Well, you certainly got that dip, but on Thursday and Friday, no one was talking about those inflation numbers. I think we even had some PPI data come out that wasn't that encouraging either. But just snapback rally and boom, boom,
Well, I mean,
boom.
we've talked about when you have seasonal events, you want a discount. And for some reason, it seems strategic that it's always created. Like more often than not, before big seasonal events, there seems to be this repeating story here, right? Like let's just say, for example, the last day of the month is down. You might have a run before that. Let's say that the mid-month seasonality, which we talked about a few times on your show here, is very bullish. Well, wouldn't it be great to have a discount in front of it? What did we get? We got a massive 3-day discount in front of it. And the first day of mid-month seasonality was on the 9th, 9th business day, right?
All right,
So
we're coming in. We're coming in. We had that. We had a nice rally. We're within ear. I mean, we didn't even blink at the 50% retracement on the way back up. We are coming into retail earnings season kind of kicks off in earnest this week. Home Depot, Macy's, Lowe's earlier in the week, and then we hear from some of the other retailers. And frankly, with people getting out of their house and not buying on Amazon, I wouldn't be surprised to
well,
see some good numbers out of those
like
retailers.
Home Depot should have, I mean, what I've seen at the home improvement stores is, been pretty robust traffic and a lot of people, I mean, look at everywhere you see people working on their homes and things like that. So you would think that the earnings for Home Depot would be good, but did the market already factor it in? Let's bring up a chart of Home Depot right now.
Okay. All right. And let me bring it up here on the screen. All right, there you go. I just give real quick. I'm just going to talk about it technically because I was
We don't
discussing it
see it.
with.
We
Well,
don't
give me a
see it.
second.
There we are.
I was
Okay.
discussing it with my buddy on Twitter. What's his name? He's a Rick Santelli impersonator or
Oh,
something.
is he really?
Raving Rick Santelli fan or whatever. And we did some Twitterish on this day here when it had the big break. And
Right, right,
he
right.
was looking at this big move from like 250 to 350. He was thinking, hey, this is going to come back into $300, right? 50% retracement. But you know what? Moves never go that fast. Moves never go exactly with the way you want. And what I thought was important here, and when I look at charts, I just like to like what sticks out in me. You know what sticks out in me? 320, right? You had one, two, three, four, five, six, seven lows in that area. So maybe it's going to 295, maybe it's going to 395. But just when you have that kind of support in the issue, I thought it might be a bounce area.
Right. You know,
And it did. Mr. Market kind of helped out. Now you got let's call 328 resistance. What's your take, Rob?
well, I'm not a big chart guy. In
Yep.
fact, I can do without charts altogether. But I appreciate something about you, Joel. I haven't said it before, but I don't see a lot of gadgets and bells and whistles on your charts. It's just clear VB analysis, very straightforward, nothing fancy. And I think, that's kind of being a Puritan about it and not getting into all the gadgets that don't work anyway. But you know what I'm saying? I like that. Okay. But when I would look at a chart, I just want to see if the market factored in, ahead of a news event or something like that, ahead of earnings. Is it already sort of been priced in?
There
The
you go.
market factors in everything that it knows or can anticipate. It's the surprises that mess with your lives, right? So what is the expectation for Home Depot for their earnings?
Hi.
Right. What's the whisper numbers? Sometimes people look at those and get a consensus of, where people are at versus the analysts and things like that. But you know, looking at like this rally that it's had, very similar to other things, a lot of it has been priced in. So you are the guru for where it's going to go next. I know I need to look at what what is the odds saying on Home Depot, so I can pull that up here.
You wanna all right, I'm gonna stop the share. The share goes to you, Rob.
Share goes to me. Let's see here. What did Home Depot do on Friday? What was the move?
The move on Friday, it was a red candle. Let me see what it was. I know a candle doesn't. It lost a couple sticks. It went, yeah, it was down almost $2, 25.42 to 23.63. Nice solid rebound off that 16.27 low. Wow. On the upside, folks, if you're trading this tomorrow or ahead of the number, pair of highs. This is called 327.40. 42 was Thursday's high. 32 was the high on Friday's session, Rob. But go ahead.
What's
Look.
what's
Let's
the
drill
what's the
down under the hood. Look at some of the statistics.
let's see here. I'll share the screen here. So just looking, we can look at it a number of different ways. We can look at, so what happened close to close? So what was the percentage of move from Thursday to Friday, close to close? You got the percentage there?
Uh, close to close on Friday.
Yeah, percentage change.
Uh, See, Rob, you're with your unusual statistics. I'm gonna have to get my calculator out here. It opened at 26.29 and it closed at 23.63. So it had a three buck drop from open to close on a
So
$326 stock.
so only 0.55%. So not too much, right?
Right.
So looking at that, that puts us into this statistical bin right here. So really, there's no great expectation for performance on Monday. Like I wouldn't be buying it or selling it. And with an event coming up like that, if you get into some of these other price bins here where you have an advantage, like it's moved 3% or 4%, and then it's expected to follow through, or on the upside, it's had a big move, maybe up 6 or 7%. Well, those are trades you can take from a statistical perspective with some confidence. But when it's sitting here,
No edge.
there's no edge. And I just really don't like taking things when they're on the fence, especially if you're coming into an earnings event, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just asking for trouble.
I have to agree with you on that. I mean, I think that back in the bright days when I would, trade have a stable of stocks, 5, 6, 7, 8 different stocks that I'd like to hammer on an earnings day. I just like, okay, I'll let the big boys battle it out, especially like JP Morgan. That thing on earnings day could just
Mhm.
so that's one thing. No, and a lot of people like in the chat, a lot of people are like, oh, what do you think earnings are gonna beat? And you can play the options. Well, they pump up the premium, the options to make it very difficult. I just want to say, just real quick, from the S&P perspective, Friday's high 78 and a quarter. We just went to 78.75. We backed off $3. It's too early for me to call the double top, but we did match Friday's high and we're stalling here just a bit. Bitcoin is rallying off that lower open now. We're about $1,000 off that low of 44,955. Go ahead, Rob.
No, it's fine. I just said if something, you have a stock that really tends to, gap a lot, I can put in, say, Roku or something like that in there that tends to be kind of gappy sometimes. You can get some really good perspective on, what to expect from open to close. So if you get a gap overnight, you can put it into our gap bulletin and get an expectation for that day, what's happening from open to close. So a very valuable tool. Let's go back to some seasonality here.
Okay.
Because we got something launching coming tomorrow, actually, 17th. Yeah, we're launching a course tomorrow that's really cool. It's introductory course, and it's on this seasonality dashboard, really how to use.
When you talk about seasonality, are you just talking about spring, summer, winter, fall? What do you exactly mean when you talk about seasonality?
Well, actually, there's dozens and dozens of seasonal events. Like you've got tax season, you've got retail season, you've got hurricane season. I mean, there's all kinds of seasonalities, both from a macro point of view and from just a statistical point of view. So we have some things in here in this dashboard that are really great. First trading day of the month, first Friday of the month, mid-month seasonality, which we just went through in May. So let's change this to May. And I think you showcased that for me one of the days, didn't you? What was happening here?
Okay.
So here's mid-month seasonality. So this is the 9th, 10th, and 11th business day of the month. So Monday would be the 11th business day. Thursday was the 9th. So look at the performance expected on IWM and the SPY. in terms of ranking, that's the best performing period of time for the month of May, is right in the middle of the month. So we just got into that, and we're not quite finished. So we'll see how that plays out. Then guess what we have coming up next? The third Friday of the month.
On Friday. Yep.
Okay, so look at the performance expectation. IWM, the Russell 2000, still expected to slightly outperform the SPY. And we can dial in any ETF here if you want. Do you want to know how gold is going to do compared to the SPY? Do you trade any gold stuff? Are you a gold bug?
I got a chunk, and
You do?
I've had it since January of 20, and it's in like the don't ever sell
Well,
portfolio.
yeah,
So
I guess we have to have a moment of silence for you for Friday, because gold is expected to be down 2% GLD on Friday, while the SPY is up 0.4%. So you can see the inverse type of action here for the third Friday. That's also the same for the last 5 trading days of the month. But for some reason, as we go into the end of the month, it gets weaker, and gold holds up a little bit better. So your buying opportunity will be as you enter the 5 days before the end of the month. And remember, the 31st is holiday. So that means
that's right. That's right.
the last 5 days of the month come right in front of a holiday as well. It's late this year. So anyway, we've got watch for your discount on gold as you go into the 5th trading day before the end of the month. Okay, we call that -5, -4, -3. Watch for a discount on gold as relative to the S&P anyway. But yeah, this Friday it doesn't look good for you.
All right. I'm trying to be a long-term holder on that. We got about a few minutes left here, Rob. As I said, the S&P's matched Friday's high. We backed off that by 4 points at 74.50, so it'll be important to clear Friday's high. Why don't we try something a little different here for the last few minutes here of this segment?
Okay.
And we'll let someone in the chat could put in a stock or a pair or something, and just look at the season. Just look at the seasonality for the day or for the week. Is that something we could do here to wrap things up?
We do have some reports on that in our dashboard screeners as well.
Okay.
We'll see if we can meet their request.
All right, let's Bill Big D. He's a big fan of the morning and the afternoon show. Active trader, even though he's a Bama fan, I still think he's a pretty good guy. Uh, is this something on your radar, Bill Big D? Something? Earnings always make it tough, but see if there's something or watermelon slice. Mentioned this CRCT, but all right, let's go. Let's wrap things up here. Andrew Garver is asking about Costco, and I don't know. Do you know exactly when they report, Andrew? Because I know that the retail season's coming up. I think they're a little bit later, but let's just go to the Costco chart here. And I just want you to know, I just got my my
Your rebate
2%
check?
back. Yeah, I did. It did, and I figured out how much I spent there to get that rebate check. So there you go. Costco bumping up against an all-time high here. I can't say anything bad about it, folks. If you're looking for more follow through, 387.89. That was your all-time high. That was actually made last Monday, and you got there near that on Friday. But I'll just give you another number here, and then we can have Rob drill down on it. That old Friday's close, 84.42. You know what's important about that? The other all-time closing high was 84.32 on May 7th. So you got a pair of closes at the all-time closing high. I don't know about the all-time high. I don't know about the all-time low, but I'd be really keeping a sharp eye, 384.5 tomorrow. Rob, you have any statistics on that? May 27th. So we got a little time before earnings. So
Mhm.
I don't know
Well,
if
I
I could
mean,
be buying this for a pre-earnings run. Man, oh man, that's already had a nice run. Rob, what do you
yeah,
got for us?
it's still expected to lift off here a bit. So we've got some follow through still in the cards for Costco, according to the statistics.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be shorting it on Monday, according to what I see. Um, you can see the move that it's had here, and yeah, it's getting, this double top. Everybody, looks at and gets kind of nervous about things like that. But we've still got that backdrop of when it does this type of move historically, this 1 and 2 days in a row, it does have more follow through potential. So, and also when it's getting back up there, what do we say? Once, twice, three times a charm. Sometimes it goes through these
No
levels that
such thing as a triple
people
top. That's right.
people lean on these things far too much. Like I'm not really interested in these kind of patterns that people say, well, it can't go any higher. I just see so many resistance levels and support levels get blown out all the time. I'd rather look at it and go, how is it moved on a performance and what's expected next? How is it moved on the RSI and what's expected next? How is it related to its Bollinger Bands and what's expected next? That approach to me is more statistically sound than just leaning on a support or resistance level just because it's there.
Statistics, not picks. All right, one more, and then we're going to wrap things up here on this Sunday evening. I don't know if you're going to have a lot of statistics on this one because it hasn't been around right now. Do you have Unity software in your database? It's only been around. You might not. It's only been around since last year, since September of last year. I'll just give a little backdrop on this one when Rob's checking under the hood. Uh,
This is so true.
did not react well earlier in the week. Had some earnings. We had Michael Pachter on our show, longtime fan of the show, and he said he liked the stock and he liked it long term. He was very emphatic about it. He based it on his analysis, which is a lot different than the analysis that Rob and I do. And it's holding. I mean, it had a good week. Your weekly high 87.85. You close right up there at 87.48. So that's what you want to see, folks. You want to see file through that high, knock out that 89 high. So good week. Is it out of the woods yet? I don't know. I really think you have to take out that weekly high at 92.27. Rob, you got anything? I know this is not a very old stock. Do you have anything on it?
Yeah, I'm just checking to see if we have it here. Yeah, it's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, again, it doesn't have a huge amount, but basically, this is just based on the streak value.
Yes.
So
We all
the
know
odds,
stocks do streaks.
so the odds are low for follow through on open to close for Monday's trading.
Okay.
So if we take that out and say, what's it going to do over 3 days, it does bump it up. So if we're looking at it on a 3 day perspective, you do see the odds much higher. Just looking at it only for Monday, the odds are much lower.
All right.
And if we look at it maybe on a performance move basis, let's see if it has any bins. No, we're not getting anything there. So the only thing we can do is on the streak. And I would say that I'd be cautious on Monday, statistically speaking. And then, if it starts to turn around from a low, there may be some potential over the 3 day period.
All right, Rob, we're going to wrap things up here on the Sunday evening, May 16th on the pre-market prep show with Stock Odds. Joel Elconin here with Rob Friesen, giving us a different look at the markets, probably perhaps a look, a perspective you won't get anywhere else on Wall Street. We're going to be doing a lot more of this with Rob. Closing out the futures markets, SPOOs are still up, nice 5 3/4 handles. Held the close just like it should at 41.69 or 68.50 low. Struggled at Friday's high right now. It's still early. It's only 34 minutes into the session. So we'll see what happens. Do we want to take out Friday's high, get into that 4,200 handle, and maybe challenge that all-time closing high of 42.25 1/4? That remains to be seen. We'll be giving you some updates bright and early at 8 a.m. on the pre-market prep show. So everyone, Thanks for joining me. Get your questions ready for next week, and we'll be here to do it again. Rob, thank you very much.
Hey, Joel, will you do me a favor?
Yes, sir.
I sent you a coupon code for this right up here, the new dashboard course that's just launching.
Okay.
That's a deep dive into this seasonality almanac. And
Okay.
all I can tell you, short stories is that, you know, over the last 20 years, I've witnessed seasonality events over and over and over, exploited them. Many of our bright traders have exploited them, and Bob Bright is just loves seasonality. And he did really well this last week on seasonality. So if anybody wants to consume that, I'll give you a coupon code you
Yep,
can share.
I'm going to put it in right here, and I'm going to
So
tell
just
you
go up
first.
here and click on this new dashboard course right there, and then you put your name and email and submit, and they'll send you a link for it. And that covers this seasonality dashboard and all the good strategies related to it. So
Okay, let's make sure I got the code right. Pre-MKT20. I just want to make sure I got that right. I'm going to go.
yeah, we'll probably keep that same code for all your users for various
Okay.
things that we have coming up. So we want your, you know, team to get a discount on everything. Okay.
Actually, it's PREMKT 20. All right, folks. Operators are standing by. Thank you for joining me. Everyone have a great evening. Back with
Thanks,
you
Joel. Appreciate it.
on Monday morning.
All right. Cheers.